Hello everyone, welcome to the 2021 year update and Q&A. I don't have too many updates for you this year, but I'll start with what I have so far. The year 2021 marks the 50-year anniversary of Amtrak. If you saw last week's video, you'll know that I'm planning on posting one Amtrak video every month for the rest of the year, similar to what I did in 2019 with steam train videos to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad. I might also be uploading some extra Amtrak videos in May, but more details on that later. One of the things I was planning on doing last year that I wasn't able to start on was a new video series on the history of various rail lines. My hope is that I will be able to start on that sometime this year. I'm also working on another new video series on heritage units. The first episode is actually already finished, but I'm hoping to have at least one more episode completed before the series debut. Train Talk will also be back this year. I was planning on posting a new episode in February, but depending on time constraints, that might be delayed. Something I really became interested in last year is freight rail, specifically where certain trains run and what they do. I'm in the process of working on another series about freight trains, so that's another project I'm hoping to get off the ground this year. As you can probably imagine, I don't have any firm travel plans as of right now. Last year I was hoping to take a trip across Canada in the summer and another trip to the Northeast United States in the fall, but those plans have been put on hold for the time being. Keep an eye out for more updates in the community tab of the channel page as the year progresses. Well, that's it for the update. Now let's get to some questions. Which variant of Phase 3 is/was your favorite? Probably the classic version that was applied to the Amtrak F40s. Do you plan on making a trip to the Three Rivers Rambler when all the steam projects are completed? At some point I'd like to head back out there, but not sure when that will be. What Southern Pacific steam locomotive would you like to see run? Favorite wheel arrangement from the SP? What makes the Phase 3 Amtrak scheme stand out? Did you ever go to McLeod or Dunsmuir? Did you ever hear of the McLeod Railroad? What is the next tourist railroad on your bucket list? How many gauges of model trains do you have? What is your favorite city to film trains within their perimeters? What is your favorite mainline steam locomotive? For SP steam, probably the cab forward at the California State Railroad Museum, and favorite wheel arrangement would be the 484. I love how eye-catching the 3 equal width red, white, and blue stripe scheme is. I've been through McLeod and Dunsmuir a few times, and I've heard of the McLeod Railroad, but I never got to go before they shut down. The White Pass and Yukon for tourist railroads, and I have a few in G, O, H, O, and N for model trains. Not sure about a favorite city. A favorite mainline steam locomotive is either Southern Pacific 4449 or Union Pacific 4014. When you go to the Illinois Railway Museum, would you like to see steam trains, diesel trains, and electric trains? Yes, I'd like to see all 3. When are you going back to Michigan? Not sure, but I'd like to at some point. Have you ever thought to premiere videos? I have, and I was actually planning on doing that for the last Steam Trains Galore video, but when I found out that you can only premiere videos in 1080p and not 4K, I decided to just post it as a normal release and answer comments for the first few hours after the video went live. Will you do a train talk on classifying railroads? Perhaps at some point, but I don't have any immediate plans for that. What is your favorite model train? The Rapido HO scale Amtrak F40. Would you like to see Chesapeake and Ohio 2716, Frisco 1630, and see diesel and electric trains at the Illinois Railroad Museum? Yes, that would all be neat to see. What is your best catch this year? I had a few good catches last year. The top pick would probably be the Cumbres-Toltec rotary snowplow. And if you haven't seen it yet, you should take a look at my top 10 trains of 2020 video that I did last month. What is your opinion on precision scheduled railroading? Like it, dislike it? Well, it usually means fewer trains, which is kind of unfortunate. How do you travel around America in a quick amount of time to see all these types of trains? Usually by personal vehicle, but I have occasionally flown or taken the train. What are your favorite locomotives? Southern Pacific 4449 for steam, F40PH for diesel, and AEM7 for electric. Is your screensaver a train? If so, what train? Yes, it's currently this photo of BNSF 563 leading a freight train through Bellingham, Washington. What was your most favorite train video you took during 2020? If I had to pick just one clip, Probably this one of BNSF 563. What is your favorite wooden toy train? Whittle Shortline Railroad F40. Would you like to go back to the Texas State Railroad? Yes. If you could bring back an extinct steam locomotive, which one would it be? The New York Central Hudson. If there was one steam locomotive you could restore, which one would it be? Chesapeake and Ohio, Allegheny. What is your favorite Amtrak long-distance train in the top 3 list? So, number 1 would be Coast Starlight, number 2 would be the Empire Builder, and number 3 would be the California Zephyr. If you were to drive a train from any company, would it be Union Pacific, BNSF, or Amtrak? Probably Amtrak. What's your favorite movie? Back to the Future. What's your favorite song? Claire de Lune by Debussy. What are your favorite YouTubers? I like a lot of the different rail fanning channels. What's your favorite game to play? Probably Roller Coaster Tycoon, although I haven't played it in a while. Your favorite year? I don't have a favorite year in particular. What's the name of the song in Steam Train Explorer 8? That is, I've been working on the railroad. How has 2020 been? For me personally, 2020 was okay. It could have been a lot worse, I suppose. What steam engines did you see in 2020? Only ones I saw were Virginia Truckee 29, Cumbres and Toltec 484 and 487, and the Northern Pacific 924. Are you planning to return to North Carolina someday? I'd like to get back to North Carolina. Will the Siemens Charger locomotives be replacing the Genesis locomotives on Amtrak? If so, when? Chargers will start to replace the Genesis later this year. What steam engines are on your bucket list for 2021? CNO 1309 is at the top of the list for this year. And what type of camera and microphone do you use? I use a Canon XF400 and a Rode microphone. Is there a steam engine that's coming back next year that you are really hoping to see? Probably either CNO 1309 or one of the East Broadtop steam locomotives. How do you know where to go and when to show up for rail fanning? Passenger trains are a lot easier than freight movements. For those, you can usually just consult the schedule and any of the train tracking apps that are available. Freight's a lot harder. A bunch of the time I rely on updates from my friends when something neat's coming by. What's your favorite Heritage unit and Heritage Railroad? Favorite Heritage unit is a tie between Amtrak 184 and Amtrak 145. Favorite Heritage Railroad is the Cumbres and Toltec. Do you plan on returning to the Northeast again in the future? Yes, I was going to last year, but that didn't end up working out. Hopefully this year. Have you been to the Wisconsin train yards? I haven't been to any rail yards in Wisconsin, but I have seen a few trains there. So what are you going to do in 2021? Not sure yet. Most of what I know at this point is at the beginning of this video. When will the Amtrak Chargers be arriving? First Chargers are due in this spring. Will you come to Salem, Oregon this year? Not sure yet about Salem, but we will see. Have you been to Larry's Truck and Electric in Lordstown? I have not been there, but I have friends that have. When will the second part of your Identifying Locomotives train talk come out? Not sure when the next part will be up or what it will be. Most of the subsequent parts will just be on the different series of locomotives like the Dash 8, GP series, and so on. Why does Amtrak use Horizons in the Cascades sometimes? Amtrak now uses the Horizons on the Cascades because the Series 6 Talgos were retired. Have you been to Roaring Camp in Big Trees? If so, how was the experience? I've been there many times over the years. It's a really great place. What was your first ever Heritage unit you saw? First Heritage unit was Amtrak 145 in 2011. If you could bring back an engine that is on display, which engine would you choose? Probably Southern Pacific Cab Forward. When did you see the BNSF 25th anniversary unit? That was back at the end of November. What is the most recent Heritage unit catch? I think one of the BNSF Heritage units a couple weeks ago. What is your favorite type of steam locomotive? Favorite wheel arrangement is probably a 484, but that's negotiable. Can I get a heart by CoasterFan2105? Definitely. What is your favorite special train that you shot in 2020? Probably the Boeing 737 train that I saw last October. Take a look at the top 10 video from last month for the full list. Have you ever caught an elephant-style train before? Yes, quite a few of them. Are you planning on coming back to the New York City metro area anytime soon? No immediate plans to return to NYC, but that could always change. Do you plan on filming any rapid transit systems like the Washington Metro or New York City subway? I'd like to film more subways and trolleys because I haven't done it as much in recent years. Are you going to do a train talk on why North American locomotives have bells? I do want to make an episode on locomotive bells at some point. Do you film all by yourself or do you have other people help you? I sometimes get assistance, but almost all of what you see on the channel was filmed by me. Was 2020 a bad year for you or was it good? It was a difficult year, no question, but I made it through. Can you make basically a whole video of P42DC and P40DC since they are almost being retired? There will be several videos this year with P40 and P42 locomotives. Do people that you know or your family watch your videos? Yes, some of them do. What is your favorite type of train to catch? Either freight or Amtrak. How has your ability to take videos been affected? Well, basically meant little to no travel for most of the year. I went down to Southern California to help a family member move in the fall, and so I was able to spend a little bit of time filming down there, but other than that, very little travel after February of 2020. What was your least favorite catch of 2020? I'm not sure what would be my least favorite. Do you plan on seeing Amtrak's Autumn Colors Express in October 2021? I didn't even know there was going to be one this year. How was 2020? It was okay. I always try to look at the positive things in life. What was your most memorable moment of 2020? Seeing the rotary snowplow at the Cumbres and Toltec. Do you like Mexican railroads like Ferromex, etc.? And you should see Nevada Northern 81. Yeah, I'd love to travel to Mexico someday and see more of them. What's one place you haven't been to film trains that you'd love to go in the future? I'd love to spend some time filming in Canada. Do you think we'll ever see more electrified main lines in the US? I think it'll be a long time before any cross-country railroads in the US are electrified. It's more likely that you'll see battery-powered locomotives in freight use. When are you going to go see Long Island Railroad again? I don't have any immediate plans for it, but I'd like to next time I'm in the Northeast. Will you do a train talk episode on the Siemens Charger once the ALC 42 type enters service? There's a very good chance of that. Where do you recommend rail fanning in California? Would you rail fan with me in 2021 rail fanning plans? Anywhere along the coast and possibly. What do you think of Caltrain's electrification project, and do you have any information about the fate of the Caltrain F40 and MP36 locomotives? It's an interesting project and nothing that I know of right now, although I do think they're going to keep the newer F40s and MP36 locomotives in service for the trains that go all the way down to Gilroy. What railfan event that you weren't able to attend do you wish you could? Probably the Cumbres and Toltec Victorian Steam Roundup. Have you ever done a video on the Horseshoe Curve, Pittsburgh, Norfolk Southern Main Line? I've been to the area before, but I haven't done a full video on it, and I'd like to go there sometime and make one. Can you talk about Amtrak Siemens Venture coaches? When more of them are delivered, I'm sure I will. Are you sad that Coaster will be retiring their F40s and F59s? Yeah. Are the F59s an F unit? I don't think so. What's going to happen to the Talgo 6 train sets and Cascades F40s? They'll probably all be scrapped. Not sure about the Cascades non-powered control units. What's going to happen to the old Acela train sets when they're retired? I'm not sure about those either. What do you think will happen to Coaster F40s and F59s? The Coaster F40s are all being donated to the Pacific Southwest Railroad Museum out in Campo, California. Are you going to film at the Santa Fe Depot? Will you film at San Clemente Pier? Do you like the new Coaster Chargers? Would you film the Watco Escondido subdivision train or the San Diego Imperial Valley train? I used to film at the Santa Fe Depot all the time, but not in many years. I'll hopefully get another chance to go back to San Clemente at some point. The new Chargers are alright, but I will miss the old coaster scheme, and the Pacific Sun no longer operates in San Diego. It was taken over by BNSF back in October of last year. What is your favorite steam locomotive wheel arrangement? 484. Will you ever take a visit to southeastern Michigan where Grand Trunk Western used to operate? I've been to the area before, but I'd like to film more there at some point. Will you ever railfan at San Jose Diridan? I have in the past, but not sure I will again anytime soon. Have you ever visited the BNSF and Union Pacific Colorado joint line? Yeah, I've been to it a couple times over the years. What editing software do you use? Final Cut Pro? What Steam events will you be attending in 2021? The only ones that I have any plans for right now are the ones I was already signed up to attend last year, but were rescheduled for this year. Do you plan on visiting the East Broad Top when it reopens? What are you hoping to do in 2021? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the year 2020? Yeah, I'll definitely be visiting, and probably about a 5 or so. Will you consider doing a train talk episode on B units? Potentially, yes. What is your favorite train you have seen, and what is your favorite heritage unit? Favorite train would be Southern Pacific 4449. Favorite heritage unit is a tie between Amtrak 184 and 145. Are you part of a railroad? I am not. What was your top 10 rare, unexpected, greatest moments of rail fanning? What was a most challenging moment while chasing a train? What is your favorite production of train movies? The first one is probably too long to answer in the Q&A, but probably the most unexpected one that I can think of was when I was chasing 3751 to San Diego in 2010, and it happened to meet a northbound coaster train with locomotive 2105 leading right at the crossing where I was set up. That was pretty cool. A most challenging moment while chasing a train was trying to figure out where the train was on the 2009 trip of 4449 to Owasso, Michigan, and probably Daylight Express by Skyfire. When are you going to film footage of the Northwest Railway Museum and its newest engine, Northern Pacific 924? I actually did film a little video of it, I just haven't posted it yet. Maybe soon. Have you ever been to the White Pass and Yukon route? I have not, but it's high on the list. If you had a favorite aircraft, what would it be? F4U Corsair. Have you ever visited Mount Pleasant, Iowa during the Midwest Old Thrashers reunion, or stopped by the Boone and Scenic Railway? I have not, but both of them are on the list. When will you make a West Train video, and will you film the Avalia Liberty? Hopefully this year, but who really knows at this point. What was the most rarest train catch you caught and why? Years ago, I caught 2 BNSF SD9 locomotives in service on a BNSF freight train. That probably tops the list, but there are a lot of them. What was your favorite catch on the EVE CUS Manifest this year? BNSF 563 leading with a GP60B unit and a Burlington Northern GP40. Will you be posting Steam Trains Galore 9 this year? I'm planning on it. For Toy Trains Galore 6, could you recreate some famous rail fanning locations? Those may be on the complex side to recreate, but I will look into it for sure. What is your favorite locomotive from EMD and GE, F40PH, and the Dash 8? How long does it take to edit your videos? It really depends on the video. This particular video has taken well over a week to gather all the questions, answer them, and then gather whatever other material I need for the video and then assemble it. Will you be doing a video about the EMD SD70 Ace Tier 4 and the GE ET44 AC or C4 for 2021? And when you can, will you travel to another country to make video on the bullet trains? I might at some point, and I'd like to eventually. When are you going to do the next Amtrak train ride? I actually had the next one planned for last year. I had everything filmed on the ground, and the only thing that was left really was the onboard portion of the video. But since I wasn't able to complete that one, I started into 2 of the next long distance trains. So hopefully once I'm able to get all the onboard footage, I'll be able to put that together in short order. Was 2020 a hard year for you as well, and did you see commuter trains this year? Yes, and a few of them. Planning on going to Australia one day, and what camera do you film with? Australia is probably on the top of my list for overseas travel when I get to that point, and I film with a Canon XF400. What is your favorite heritage unit catch of the year? Amtrak 184 leading the Empire Builder. What is the locomotive at 2631 in the video? That is a GP38-3. Are you planning to head out east again next year? Hopefully, but unsure at this point. What was your best catch of 2020? Probably the rotary snowplow, but if you want to see all 10, take a look at the top 10 video from last month. when is Toy Trains Galore coming out? As of right now, I don't know. I was hoping to post it sometime last fall, but I was busy helping a family member move. What are your thoughts on the Cumbres and Toltec and Durango and Silverton converting some of their operating steam locomotives from coal to oil? Do you wish to donate money for the restoration of 1309 and 2926? With your last Train Talk episode about heritage units, will you do a future Train Talk episode about fallen flags? Will you be visiting Cumbres and Toltec for the Victorian Iron Horse Roundup? Have you ever filmed White Pass in Yukon? It's kind of unfortunate to see, but I understand why they're doing it. Sure, maybe at some point, hopefully, and I have not. Will you ever do more trains in Iowa? Yes, I'd like to. Did you like visiting the Long Island Railroad, and was 2020 one of your best years to see trains? Yeah, I enjoyed seeing the Long Island Railroad, and hopefully I'll have another chance to see it at some point. And 2020 was okay. Can you do a Train Talk episode about how Nathan Airchime K series horns sound different? That's actually something I've been looking at doing a video on for quite a while now, so yes, I want to. What's your favorite F40 PH? 2105. What was your most memorable catch of 2020? Take a look at the top 10 video. Did you see all 20 NS heritage units? No, I've only seen 2 of them so far. Will you like 2021? I sure hope so. Can you do more trains on the East Coast, and can you do a video on trains stopping in stations? Definitely want to. We'll just have to see what opportunities this year brings. Were you able to do many things in 2020? Outside of the Pacific Northwest, not much. When you visit Canada, will you visit Toronto as your first city, or Vancouver, or both? Probably Vancouver, since it's within close driving distance, but I definitely want to visit Toronto too. Can you do a train talk on steam locomotive whistles or on train orders? Steam whistles is an episode that I've been hoping to finish for ages, hopefully this year. What is the best place to rail fan in Oregon and Washington and California? What is your favorite electromotive division locomotive? What is your favorite heritage unit on a Union Pacific Norfolk Southern? How did you start to like trains? I love the shoreline of Puget Sound and the coast in Southern California. For favorite EMD, definitely the F40. Favorite heritage unit is the 1996 for Union Pacific, and for Norfolk Southern, it's 1066. I started liking trains at a very young age when my grandmother gave me a video called Daylight Express. What was your favorite catch of this year? The rotary snowplow. Have you ever been to Australia? If you have been, what was your favorite part about it? If you haven't, do you plan on going? I've not been. I really want to. Hopefully I'll get a chance one of these days. Are you going to make more train spot videos from Jack London Square? What company brand is your favorite among Union Pacific, BNSF, CSX, Norfolk Southern, steam or diesel? What's your favorite train horn? Possibly BNSF, depends on the day, but probably steam and the Nathan K5LA. This year, can you do a lot of steam train locomotives like Nickel Plate 765? I'd like to, but I'm not sure yet. What was your first train ride? It was either Disneyland or it was the Amtrak San Diegan from San Diego to Del Mar. Have you been to Oklahoma? Yes, a few times. Can you make a blooper video for the 700,000 subscribers special? What is your favorite class 1? Could you make more videos with your face? I've wanted to do a blooper video for a while, so maybe. BNSF, and I wanted to last year, but I've had to put some of those plans on hold for now, so hopefully this year, we'll see. What is your favorite American railroad? Former would be the Santa Fe or maybe Southern Pacific. Current is probably BNSF, the Alaska Railroad, or Amtrak. What is your take on the Texas Central High-Speed Rail? It's a neat project. We'll have to see what happens. If Big Boy 4014 goes on an excursion this year, will you go rail fan the trip? Have you ever played trains? What do you use to make videos? Yes, hopefully. I played it years ago, and Final Cut Pro. What inspired you to become a railroad enthusiast? A video called Daylight Express that I got as a gift from my grandmother many, many years ago. Will the next train talk be about the Cell Express now that they will be retiring in 2021? Probably not the next one, but I can see it being an episode at some point. Have you heard of the CNW narrow gauge? I can't say I have. Can you do Steam Locomotives Galore Part 9 or 10? I'm planning on it. Is the Amtrak Dash 8 still in operation? Did the Dash 8 locomotives get retired? They're currently mostly still in service just for yard work. The bell I keep hearing on the Metrolink Rotom cab cars and on the F125, is that an automated bell or a real bell? It's a Graham White electronic bell. At 2:38 in the video, what is that train? That is an Amtrak Cascades Talgo train. Will you railfan Southwest Washington like Vancouver, Washington, Ridgefield, Washougal? Will you film on the Portland and Western? Will you film the Willamette Shore Trolley? How have you been affected with your filming 2020? Do you plan on making a railroad crossing train talk episode? I've been to some of those places before, but I will probably be back at some point. I've seen the Portland and Western, but would like to see more of it in the future. I'm not sure. Take a look at some of my previous answers, and I would like to, but I need to have more time to plan the video. What trains are you going to railfan next year? I'm not sure yet. If the Union Pacific were to run 4014 and 844 in 2021, would you go see them? Yes. When did you get into trains? When I was very young. How did you start to like trains? Take a look at the previous answers. Anything you're excited for in 2021? The Amtrak 50th anniversary. When will you make a train talk about the Amtrak Dash 8s? It will probably be more of a general video on the Dash 8 series, and possibly this year. We will see. Hi. Hello. What are your favorite towns in Washington to railfan in? Why did you move to Washington, and what's your favorite general purpose locomotive? Tacoma, Bellingham, Wenatchee, Spokane, and Leavenworth are probably my favorites. I moved up 2 years ago to be closer to family and the GP40. What is your favorite train of all time? Southern Pacific Daylight. What is your favorite old and new Amtrak heritage units? The 184 and 145. Have you ever taken the Mount Washington Cog train? I haven't, but that's another one that I've wanted to do for some time now. Personal attachment to the 2105. It started with an HO scale model of the locomotive that I've had for more than 20 years now. How's life in the Northwest? I really like it. What do you see this channel like in the future? Hopefully more full-length narrated videos, some new video series that I'm currently working on, and maybe even some more videos with me in them. What else do you shoot for photography? I love photographing nature, old structures, bridges, boats, and airplanes. Do you work somewhere, or is YouTube your main source? It's a significant part, but it's not the only part. Favorite video of mine and why? The Caltrain AM7 is being moved through Jack London Square. Favorite color? Green. Will you see the new Caltrain electrics in 2021? I'm not sure yet, but probably not this year. How did you get into railfanning? I felt like there weren't a lot of great videos on the Coaster commuter train, which was the local commuter train down in San Diego where I used to live. So I wanted to film my own, and things just kind of took off from there. Your favorite Amtrak heritage unit, which do you like more, F40-8 or P42? And what's your favorite movie with trains and without? Favorite heritage units, 184, 145, the F40, Back to the Future 3, and Back to the Future 1. What are some steam locomotives that you like most? Southern Pacific 4449, Union Pacific 4014, Pere Marquette 1225, and Santa Fe 3751. What is the best and worst thing about being a popular channel in a specific subject? It's very gratifying to know that so many people enjoy my videos. One of the biggest challenges for me is that sometimes it is difficult to keep up with everything in terms of the upload schedule, comments, and emails that I get. Which Union Pacific heritage units are considered your top favorites? Probably 1996 or 1989. If the Nathan K5LA horn plays the B major 6th musical chord, what kind of musical chord or notes does the Nathan K5LA horn play? I don't know if it has an actual name. It's just the K5LA chord that's replaced with a 1L bell instead of a 5, and the 1L plays a C. Could you try to make a train talk on the Los Angeles Metrolink? No guarantees on that, but hopefully eventually. What are your thoughts on the San Diego Coaster's new Charger locomotives? They're neat, but I'm gonna miss the F40s. Can you do a top 10 list about your favorite passenger locomotives with some of the honorable mentions before number 1? That's a good idea, I'll look into it. Have you ridden on a Coaster commuter train or a Metrolink train? Yes, a few times. What is your favorite spot or area to railfan in? I like a lot of various spots along the shore of Puget Sound. How old are you when you started rail fanning? If you count before I was filming trains, I was still a kid. Is there any railroad in Texas you want to visit? I've been to the Texas state before, but wouldn't mind revisiting that one along with all the others. What is your favorite train to see, Amtrak or BNSF? What's your favorite commuter railroad? What's your favorite steam engine? Do you like the new Acela? What's your favorite Long Island Railroad locomotive? And what's your favorite Amtrak Heritage unit? Coaster, SP4449, they look cool, the DE30AC, and either 184 145. How do you feel about the Coaster F40's possible restoration? I really hope it happens, and I wish the Pacific Southwest Railroad Museum the best of luck. Are you planning to visit Florida again? Definitely at some point, but as of right now, I'm not sure when. Do you plan to catch the delivery train for the new Talgos for the Amtrak Cascades? If I'm free when it happens, yes. Were you crying when you saw Rotary OY and Amtrak 281? Are you sad to see the Amtrak Genesis and Coaster F40s retire? And what's the steam railroad at 3402 in the video? They were neat to see, and yes, I'm sad to see the Genesis and the Coaster F40 go, and that is at the Northwest Railway Museum. What are your feelings on the Avelia Liberty? Do you have any plans to visit the Northeast? How do you feel about the Amtrak long-distance chargers and your favorite horn besides the K5LA? It's a neat-looking train. Nothing planned currently. We will see. They look neat. And I like the new nose and paint scheme. And other than the K5LA, either the Leslie RS5T or the RS3L. Have you ever railfanned or want to railfan the Red Hill Crossing? I went there many years ago before it was a quiet zone, but nothing since then. Is Amtrak Dash 8 still in operation? They're still in yard service for now. What are your thoughts on the new rail projects like the new train hall in New York City and the Avelia Liberty? I think it's neat to see some of these projects come to fruition. How does it feel to have videos with 60 million views? It's pretty hard to believe. Will there be a train talk on Metrolink in 2021? Also, do you have any plans to visit Maryland next year? Not sure yet, and nothing planned currently. What trains have you not gotten to see in 2020? GE Genesis or Siemens SCB 40? Favorite steam locomotive? So a number of different steam train special events that were planned. I'd probably go with Genesis and the SP4449. What's your opinion on Amtrak bringing Siemens chargers in to replace P42s? How many Amtrak UP Heritage units? How many war bonnets, BN paints, and blue bonnets have you seen? I'm gonna miss the P42s, but the chargers look cool. I'm not sure exactly what the number is for the old Santa Fe and BN painted units, but I've seen all of the Amtrak Heritage units and 4 of the Union Pacific Heritage units. What was your favorite steam locomotive trip? When you do your long cross-country trips, do you drive or take planes? And your opinion on the ALC 42. So for the first one, UP 4014 to Ogden in 2019. I usually drive so I can stop at various places along the way, and they look cool. I like the new nose design. Model trains galore, please, and will 2021 be the year Santa Fe 3751 returns to service? Hopefully at some point, and I'm not sure. Have you ever driven a train before? Yes. About how much time and prep goes into making a video? Depends on the video, but anywhere from days to weeks. What is or what was your favorite Amtrak locomotive? F40PH? What do you consider your best catch of the year 2020? See the top 10 video. Are you wanting to make a journey to the White Pass in Yukon or to the Alaska Railroad? Yes to both. Will you come to film trains in Georgia in the future, and are you going to miss the Coaster F40s when they're retired? I'd like to, and yes. What is your favorite location to film any type of trains? Probably Puget Sound. Have you considered filming across the pond in Europe? I've wanted to do that for a while, and hopefully I'll get a chance at some point. Do you do anything else besides rail fanning? Yes. Favorite coaster cab car, coaster scheme, Amtrak F40, Amtrak Dash 8, 2302, old one, 293, 510. Do you know when the SC44 chargers are coming out for coaster? February 8th. Would you like to see the DMIR 332? Definitely. Why did you move to the Pacific Northwest? To be closer to family. Would you film the Autumn Colors Express train in West Virginia in 2021? Have you heard that the Railroaders Memorial Museum will make an announcement regarding the progress on the restoration of Pennsylvania Railroad 1361? Will you make a video on VRE commuter trains? Could you also make a video on Horseshoe Curve? Possibly. I haven't heard about that. I'd like to, but I think I'm still a little short on video for that. And yes, why were flashing ditch lights created, and why do some railroads have them and others don't? I think they were created to better get people's attention. In terms of why some railroads have them and why some don't, I think that just is a preference of whatever railroad you're talking about. Which Amtrak long distance trains are your favorite? Co-Starlight followed by the Empire Builder. Will you do more train talk videos? There will definitely be more train talk videos. What video are you the most proud of or put the most work into? Definitely the Co-Starlight video, but I have a few others in the works that will be even better than that, so hopefully you'll get to see a few of those this year and next year. What is your favorite British steam and diesel locomotives? And will you ever do a train talk on non-American locomotives? I'm not sure about diesels, but far and away the A3 Pacific. And I'd like to do train talks on other things, but it really depends on what I have archival video and photos of. So that would probably have to wait until I made a trip over to the UK or some other European country. Will you do a farewell to the Coaster F40s? Yes. What do you like the most about rail fanning? I love seeing different places and learning about geography of the country and the National Rail Network. What happened to having more toy train videos? I was going to do one last fall, but I was busy and wasn't able to film it. I'm still trying to figure out what the next one should be and when I should post it. Have you heard that NCTD is repainting their passenger cars? Yes, I have. What is your favorite model train? Rapido, HO Scale, F40? Are you going to designate some time soon to get the Coaster F40s while they still run? I saw them a little bit last year. I wanted to go see the final runs at the end of the month, but unfortunately I don't think that's going to happen at this point. Any other non-rail related hobbies, plans for the channel for the future, thoughts on the Caltrain electrification? I like music, but I'm not sure if that really counts as a hobby. Plans are just to keep things going as of right now because of all the uncertainty, and the electrification project is neat, but I will miss the F40s. What did you like most about South Florida when you visited, and what was your most favorite catch in the last 20 years? I really liked South Florida. It's such a unique place, lots of cool trains and great people, and I can't wait to go back down there at some point. I'm really not sure what would be my best catch, but maybe the big boys' first trip to Ogden, Utah. If you could have any non-American locomotive come to the US for touring, what would you choose? And have you seen any interesting graffiti work? I'd love to see the 3801 from Australia, and once I saw a recreation of Mr. Peanut on the side of a freight car. Can you do more train talks? I always want to do more episodes, but my two biggest constraints are having time to research and write up the scripts and having enough of my own material to be able to put the video together. I have a number that I'd like to get done this year, so we'll see how that goes. What do you think of the 576's restoration? Do you plan on seeing it when it runs again? It's a neat locomotive, and I hope to see it when it runs again. What's your favorite railroad museum from California? California State Railroad Museum. What's your opinion on the MBTA? It's a neat commuter operation, and I'd like to film it more at some point. Are you ever going to come to upstate New York to film the Empire Service trains again? I was hoping to do that last fall, actually, but I wasn't able to do so. Hopefully soon. What's the oldest train you filmed, and what's the newest? Oldest is the Eureka Palisades number 4, and the newest would be one of the Coaster Charger locomotives. Have you ever been rail fanning out of the US? Years ago I filmed the Via Rail Dayliner on Vancouver Island, but that is so far the full extent of my filming outside the US. Best way to travel across the country by route of train? I'd probably say the Empire Builder to Chicago, and then the Cardinal from Chicago to the East Coast. Now that the GE-8 series has officially been retired, do you think that an ATSF type wide cab will be in a museum? I sure hope so, but who knows at this point. Why? One of life's great questions. Favorite Canadian train company, favorite North American freight railroad, and what videos will we see in the future? Canadian National and BNSF. In terms of future videos, hopefully more Amtrak, freight, and steam. Are you going to ride Caltrain's new electric trains? Maybe at some point, we'll see. When you get a chance to travel again, would you visit Moynihan Train Hall, and what do you think about it right now? Next time in New York, I'll try to visit. Did you ride the City of New Orleans? I have not yet. Can you come to Del Mar sometime? What is your favorite Surfliner cab car? Can I meet you next year? Are you going to still Railfan in SoCal? Are you going to change your channel name? I've been to Del Mar a number of times, and I'm sure I'll be back. Favorite cab car is 6903. We'll have to see what happens, but maybe. Yes, definitely. And no, I'm gonna keep the 2105 name. I've thought about changing it a few times over the years, but it really has become the identity of the channel at this point. What's your favorite train? Southern Pacific's Coast Daylight. How about the new coaster locomotives? How about them? How do you feel when I was one of the most comments in the 500,000 subscriber face reveal video? I thought it was kind of amusing, actually. Well, that does it for the Q&A. Thanks for joining me. I think I got to just about every question, and there were a lot of them this year. Thanks to everyone for asking questions. Here's hoping the best for 2021, and I'll see you next week for another railroading adventure right here on the YouTube channel. That's all for now. Until next time, I'm Mike Armstrong. I'll see you down the line. Thanks for watching.